Okay, I asked you to do something, you have chosen not to do it. I'm really annoyed, but that's okay.
I did it. That should be a point.
No, you're just super loud and annoying. I'm super loud and annoying. Okay, got to go. Thanks. Whatever. Okay, got to get through quite a few of these semester exams. Study guide questions. We left off yesterday on number 30. That would be our first one for today. Our goal was to do quite a few of these today, so we got to roll. The x-intercept of the graph. I'll give points if you know answers. If you don't say them quickly and I say them out, then it's my point. 30. I don't know what letter you said. No. Okay, so one way you could do this is, like yesterday, you could put it in y equals mx plus b in graph. It's easier to remember that an x-intercept happens when y equals 0. So instead, yes, you can have a point. If we plugged in a 0 for y, we're going to end up just having negative 5x equals 20. So x equals negative 4. So it's just d. And intercept, the opposite variable is 0. So x-intercept y is 0. Y-intercept x is 0. The next one's 31. It asks for the slope of the line x equals negative 2. X equals negative 2. It's hot in here. It is. Larry, we turn off the heat. Okay, what is the slope of the line x equals negative 2? Okay, so x equals negative 2 is either going to be a line that looks like this. It's horizontal, or stop guessing things, you just hurt my feelings. Or a line that looks like this, it's vertical. Negative 2 on the x-axis happens here. In order to cross that point, clearly we must have this kind of a line, which would have an undefined slope. That was really heartbreaking, but I'm going to let it go. The silly guesses would have been A and C. I was either guessing it had a slope of 0 or an undefined slope. If you're having issues with slope still, think about your car. If this was the kind of line that we wanted our car, like if this was a road and we put our car on this road, we would probably be undefined because that is not possible. Okay, 32. We need to find the slope of a line. They tell us that one point is negative 7/4. They tell us that the other point is 5y. They don't give us a number for that. They tell us that the overall slope is negative 1/4. There are two different ways we can handle this one. We could either put it slope intercept. Yeah, we could just calculate with the slope. Table 6, you can have a point. So I could do, it was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm a formula person, so this is probably the way I would do it. I know my m is negative 1/4. And from here, I'm just going to plug stuff in. y2, I'll do y, minus y1, I'll do 4, over x2, I'll do 5, minus negative 7. So on the left side, I still have negative 1/4, but on the right side, I can clean it up a bit. I've got y minus 4 over 12. So either we're really smart, and I mean we just would have to be super smart to understand I'm needing that right fraction to reduce to negative 1/4. And I know 3 over 12 reduces to 1/4, so I need that numerator to end up being a 3. And the only way to make that numerator a 3 is to do 7 minus 4 and get 3. So again, in my head, I was thinking through, I need that numerator to be a 3, because I know 3 over 12, negative 3 over 12, reduces to negative 1/4. But that's not how most people are going to think it through. So if you're like, oh, no, Miss Compton, not happening, then you could cross multiply. So we're going to do 4 times y minus 4 equal to, it's negative 1 times 12. So we're going to have negative 12 on the right, 4y minus 16 on the left. When we add 16 to both sides, we'll have 4y equals 4, so y equals 1. So the answer to 32 is D, 1. And again, I kind of knew it was going to be 1 because I was thinking through fraction-wise. I wanted this numerator to be 1 minus 4, so it would be negative 3 over 12 because I knew that reduced to negative 1/4. So I didn't actually have to work out the red. I understood it in gray. If you're completely lost this entire time, that's fine. There's still a third way. You can always, 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 no one said you can't graph it. Why not graph the point negative 7, 4, and then you know you're wanting to hit 5 something, like you know you want it somewhere over here. Why not start counting? You know the slope is negative 1/4, so down 1 over 4, down 1 over 4, and eventually I think you would realize, hey, it's going to hit at 5/1. I think you could figure it out with a graph. I think that might be the easiest way, but again, I'm a formula person, so I'm a formula it. I don't think there's one like this on the semester exam. I pray there's not, because that's a little deep for the morning. Okay, 33 is more like what I was expecting, where they give you 2 points and you literally just calculate the slope. So 33, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is going to be our formula for our slope. So 8 minus 6 over negative 7 minus 2, I get 2 over negative 9, which is the same as C. So 33 is C. When would D be a potential option? I'll give you 2 points. You can tell me when. What words would they add in the problem and then D would be the answer? Well, pending we changed its sign. Okay, well, I'll keep my points to myself then. If they had said the word like, can you find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to? Because if it's perpendicular, it's got the negative flip slope. So it would have been D then. Moving on. Let's go to, well, also I should add, the way people mess this up is in the denominator. They somehow did negative 7 plus 2 and got negative 5. So that's how B became an option. So back to where you can come up with your signs. 34 asks us to write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that has a slope of negative 4/5 and passes through 0, 7. So slope-intercept form, what is that? 6, get a point. So y equals mx plus b is what we need to put it in. It is D. You can have another point for that. This one was actually really easy. So we know the slope, the m, is negative 4/5. We just didn't know the b, but the b is the intercept, the y-intercept, so x is 0. Notice the point they gave you has an x of 0. So it was genuinely just a plug it in kind of thing. Could they have made it a lot harder? Absolutely. Okay, and then 35 is probably going to break my heart the way 31 did. So notice that undefined slope is something you're supposed to understand. They tell us specifically we're going through the point 5, 1. So this is 5, 1. They ask for a line that's undefined that goes through that point. What answer choice should I choose? It is, and you can have a point. We've got to choose x equals 5.
Because you go up 1, and then you go right 5. However, if it's y equals 5, you go up 5.
If it was y equals 5, it would be up here. If it was y equals 1, it would hit through that point, but it wouldn't have an undefined slope. Those two red lines have slopes of 1. I mean, slopes of 0. I can do math today.
Hardly anyone can make straight.
Okay, so undefined, you're supposed to remember that that's the up and down kind of line, not the side to side. Let's go on to 36. 36 asks for the equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through those 2 points. How am I going to get there?
Do the slope formula thing. Put the x's.
Well, we do know slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, but there is another formula I need to use to get me there. Yeah.
Some of like the one where you put the y1 and y2.
What's it called?
The slope.
Yes. 1, you can get a point for starting them off, and then 6, you get a point. We need to use the point slope because we have points. Point slope literally would work because we do have a point, but we don't have a slope. So first things first, we should probably calculate the slope. We know that's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And do you think I actually write these formulas out on my paper when I solve this in real life? No. I know these formulas in my head. I'm just writing them out so other people can see them now. So negative 7 minus a negative 2. 3 minus negative 1. So I have negative 7 plus 2, which is negative 5. 3 minus a negative 1, so 3 plus 1, which is a 4. So my slope is negative 5 over 4. Well, just by knowing that, I already know some answer choices I can eliminate. So let's say Seth or Hunter or whoever couldn't come up with that red point slope form. That's okay. Just by calculating the slope, they've still narrowed it down to 2 answer choices. What 2 answer choices have to go?
B or C.
B and C. 6, was that you as well? Okay, 1, 3, and 6 get a point. Okay, so, but I do still get to pick a point to plug in. So I can pick negative 1, negative 2, or I can pick 3, negative 7. I'm going to pick 3, negative 7. Why do you think I'm going to pick that one over negative 1, negative 2? I'm least likely to make a mistake with what?
The signs.
The signs. I picked the one that had 1 positive, 1 negative, not both negatives. So it was y2 minus y1. Well, my y is a negative 7, so it ends up being y2 plus 7. If I distribute that negative 5 fourths, I get negative 5 fourths x2 minus, or actually it's plus 15 over 4. We used to talk about, normally from here is where Miss Compton gets lazy and I stop writing the little tiny 2's. When I subtract 7 from both sides, I'm going to have negative 5 fourths x, and then whatever 15 over 4 minus 7 is. But again, we've gotten fancy enough now in life that I don't even have to bother to change the 7 to like 28 over 4. I don't have to. I can put it all in my calculator. So 15 divided by 4. Yes, dear. Oh yeah, we're going to come out and just stack minus 7. And then I'm going to math fract that. And I get negative 13 over 4 like Arturo said. So I know the answer is D. But again, did Miss Compton actually bother to change that to 28 over 4? Nah. I don't have to do fractions by hand anymore. I've got my calculator. So the answer is D. Now, Hunter is right. We should have known the answer was D long, long ago before we even bothered to do any of this. This proves to me that the answer is D, but technically this is a multiple choice test, and I knew the answer was D to begin with. Why is that, Hunter? So back to at the beginning, Abby was cool with calculating the slope of negative 5 over 4. Only one of the answers had negative 5 over 4 as a slope, and that was D. So, all that was fun, but not necessary.
Is it C for 37?
37 is C. You can have a point. So it's 2x minus 3y equals 6. There is a trick to putting it quickly in mx plus b, but we never remembered that, so let's just rearrange it. I divide by -3. I get 2/3 x minus 2, so my slope is 2/3, which is C, as Arturo said.
And is it B for 38?
30.
What's the formula? A over the number slope.
A over negative? But then I always question myself, so I end up doing this anyway. So, what is the slope of a line that is parallel to the graph 2x plus 3y equals 5? Arturo says what letter?
B.
38 is B, and he can have another point. Okay, so if I rearrange it, 3y equals negative 2x plus 5. I divide by 3, so I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5 over 3, which is a pain, but it is what it is. And you would say, oh, the answer is C. But Arturo is right. The answer is actually B, because parallel, they gotta have the same slope. So you better pick the same slope, which is B. Thank you, Arturo. Brain was not working. Are there any questions about these? Again, we're going way back.
Long time.
No, he says a long time ago, and he's not joking. We did it in early September, yeah. But also you did it in Algebra 1. So were you supposed to remember it by now? Heck yeah. 39. I feel so sorry. I don't feel sorry. That's a lie. Those poor, poor souls who haven't paid attention to a lick of this, and those are the ones who have to take the semester exam, and those are the ones who are going to fail it, and you think it's not going to hurt your grade, and it is. Bless their hearts. That's all you got to say about that. The equation of a line that passes through a point 7, -1, and is perpendicular to the graph of, is that a plus sign? Y plus 2x equals 1? Okay, well, first things first, if I rearrange this equation, I'll have y equals negative 2x plus 1. So the slope of this line is negative 2, but my slope needs to be perpendicular. So my slope needs to be that flipped and change the sign. So my slope is 1/2. So automatically I know which two answer choices need to go. A and B have got to go. That took a little long, so I'm not giving you points. Okay, but I know it also passes through 7, -1. So I've got a point. I've got a slope. Hey, maybe point slope's actually going to be useful now. So it was y2 minus y1 equals m, x2 minus x1. So for me, it's y2 minus -1 equals 1/2 x2 minus 7. So y2 plus 1 equals 1/2 x2 minus 7 over 2. And I told you I started getting lazy and I stopped writing those tiny f2s because those just get annoying. When I subtract both sides by 1, I end up getting 1/2 x minus 9 over 2, which is equivalent to which answer choice? 2 and 3 and a point. It's equivalent to D. 9 over 2 and 4 and 1/2 are the same thing. I do not know why the answer choice, again, Ms. Compton did not make this. She's going with what she's got. I do not know whether the answer choice is a mixed fraction, or as the 4 and 1/2. You and I both know I'd rather see 9 over 2. Okay, number 40. Identify the range of absolute value x minus 4. I already know what the answer choice I'm not going to guess, because that wouldn't be range. Range is what values? I heard X and that broke my heart. It's Y value, so it's not A. 1, you can get your point. Absolute value X, what does that graph look like? What letter of the alphabet? What letter of the alphabet does the absolute value? It looks like a V. You get another point. X, so our normal one would cross the origin. At -4, is that going to move me up 4, down 4, left 4, right 4? Where that -4 is on the outside, it does move me down 4 when we get a point. So we're down 4, we look like a V. Now that we've kind of drawn us a quick sketch of a graph, it's going to be really easy to determine the range. When can I start reaching out from that y-axis and touching? Can I always reach out? If I could always reach out, it would be D. What answer choice should I pick? And another point. I could start touching at -4. I couldn't touch at -5, -6, couldn't touch. I started touching at -4, and then from then on out, I could always reach out and touch my function. So 41 should be super easy, because again, it's absolute value. Since I'm not moving left or right or up or down any, I'm at the origin. So I know it's not C, because C would be domain, and they've asked range again. So I've got to pick, is it A, B, or D?
Is it A?
Is it all real numbers? Can I always reach out and touch it? I don't think so, because there's some spots down here where I can't reach out and touch nobody. Heartbroken. It's B. Can't be D. D says less than or equal to, so D would imply I'm touching it down here. We're touching it at 0 ohm, so at 1, 2, 3, 4, so numbers bigger than 0, we're touching it. So 41's B. Let's go to 42. Almost there. Just going to 46. 42, identify the type of function represented by the equation. Oh, that was super easy. We know that's an absolute value. Let's see. You missed that one, then we need to talk about your grade in this class. 43 is also easy. However, you and I don't like using that vocab term. We wouldn't have called it this. Say it again, Hunter. Say, whatever letter did you say? B? Oh, okay. Look at 43. Look at that equation. It's C. You can have a point arrow. We normally don't use the word identity function, though. What would we have called this function? What kind of function? It's not quadratic. It's not linear. I mean, it is. I said my own words. So I hate it when that happens. It's a linear function. If there is one on this class that has the word identity function, I will put the word identity/linear, same thing, on the board. .44 requires a little thought. Well, not really. We know it's not absolute value. We know it's not quadratic. We assume it's not identity because we just did that. It is constant because it's just a straight line at -3. Yes. 45. Oh no, they use words. Fred works as a gardener and he charges at least $15 to drive to a residence and $12 an hour. Which best represents the relationship between the number of hours gardening and the total charge? C. So with the total charge, he charges at least $15 and $12 an hour. So somehow there's a 12 and a 15. We're going to put the G by the 12 because it's happening per hour. So if he worked 3 hours, he would get 36 plus $15. If he worked 1 hour, he would get 12 plus $15.
Yes, the answer is D. Because it's greater than, it said it at least 15. So
The answer is D, yes. Point for you. So we know it says at least, that's what Seth is focused on. So we know he's getting at least this much money. He could be getting more than, hence why it's greater than. He's not getting less than that. 46. Oh, yay. I was hoping there was going to be one of these today. I did not know this was going to happen. Thank goodness. 46. Choose the description of each system of equations. Is this system consistent and independent? Inconsistent? Consistent and dependent? None of the above. I need a refresher. What do those words mean? The first one, A, consistent and independent. What would that look like? I've got one line. What would happen to the other line? Are they parallel? Do they cross at one spot? Are they the same line? Consistent and independent. What does that look like? They cross at one spot would be consistent and independent because that spot was special. That spot was special. B is inconsistent. Inconsistent was they didn't cross at all, so they are parallel. C, consistent and dependent, would be when they're the same line. So they cross at every single point, so none of those points are special, and that's why it's dependent and not independent. So we've got to decide, are they the same line, are they going to cross once, or are they parallel? Yes, dear. You've been very quiet lately, but I'm glad you decided to talk now. Yes. Can you tell us why? The easy way. What did you do?
I got y by itself and then divided by 2. And then got the y, x.
Yes, you put them both in y equals mx plus b, and they had same slope. Let's see. Okay, so he said he put this one in y equals mx plus b. So he did 2y equals negative 4x minus 6. So y equals negative 2x minus 3. That's what he did for the first one when he rearranged it for y equals mx plus b. For the second one, when he rearranged it, he would have negative y equals negative 2x plus 8. So y equals 2x minus 8. But they have different slopes. They don't have the same slopes unless I made a sign error, which is highly possible this morning.
I think you made something.
Two y equals negative 4x minus 6 divided by 2, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 2x plus 8 divided by negative 1, change all my signs. Where?
Wouldn't that be another negative 2 at the bottom? Y equals 2x minus 8.
I think I made one. Which would imply these two lines have different slopes. So you would think they would cross somewhere. So you think the answer would be A. Here's what I thought. Eduardo's right. And when I don't know what to do with systems, do I put them in this form, graph them, and then look at the graphs? Absolutely. But there were cheat ways to solve things a little faster. And I told you if you recognized it, it was okay if you put that answer immediately. I noticed to begin with, 4x plus 2y equals negative 6, 2x minus y equals 8. I noticed to begin with, if I multiply that bottom line by 2, then it would be 4x minus 2y equals 16. But they still have different signs. I don't know. I was thinking maybe if it had been 4x plus 2y equals negative 6 and 4x plus 2y equals 16, that would have been inconsistent. It's because of that sign there, too. So I'm assuming Eduardo's wrong and my key's wrong. But I'm going to graph it to make sure. So I'm going to graph in gray. It says B. Y equals negative 2x minus 3. 2x minus 8. Press graph. Yeah, those two lines cross. So Eduardo and my key are wrong. It should be A. So 46 should be A. When we come back tomorrow, I'm going to look at, before, I have to do this 2 more times today. If I figure out the answer has changed and then I've gone crazy somehow, I will let you know. But I really don't think I'm wrong. Okay, so it's A. 46, yeah, you didn't know what the words meant. 46 is where we're stopping. Tomorrow, I would love to. $62. I would love to go to 62. Okay, I need you to have out your notes really fast. I mean, you're going to get time. I swear I'm going to say 3 words and then you're done. I know I wasted the whole period on math workshops. You're not surprised the semester exam's coming. That was important. Yesterday we were talking about graphing quadratic functions straight from Vertex form. It was super easy. Everyone agrees? Yes. It was super easy. Today's little part is even easier. In fact, it's so easy that while you have 4 new, 4, 8, 10, 12, while you have 4 new workbook problems, none of those are what we're talking about today because they're that easy. They didn't even bother to put them in the workbook. They're that easy. So starting at number 9, that's where we left off yesterday. Starting at number 9, all they want us to do, they don't even want us to graph. They literally just want us to make the list. Can you describe it? Can you tell me the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the shape, and the direction? So the vertex on number 9 is 4 and 4. We're going to give 4 the point. 4 hadn't gotten a point all day. Let's give 4 the point. Axis of symmetry is 5. And the shape is, am I fatter? Am I skinnier? How's my shape? It's skinnier because of that 3. If you want to be mathematical, you can put stretched. The direction is up or down. Okay, number 10. I need to know those same things. My vertex. You said it first day. You can have your point. The axis of symmetry is 9. The shape doesn't matter because there's an understood 1 in front. The direction is up.
Going up. I think I had that. Yep. I kind of beat you.
Did he beat me? I don't think he did. Okay, same thing for number 11. My vertex. 3, negative 10. My axis of symmetry. 3. My shape. I've gotten fatter. Why have I gotten fatter? And then my direction is up. So I'm going to be super lazy and not even make the list for the last one. My vertex is 3, negative 4. My axis of symmetry is 3. My shape hasn't changed any. My direction is down. Are there any questions about those? Man, wouldn't it be nice if the whole test was that? Too bad it's not. You have like total of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4, 8, 10, 12, 10 workbook problems over the past 3 days. You could work on that for the next few minutes. It would